Welcome. Today we are starting a new series which requires analysis and an objective outlook rather than a political hue and cry. Today, in that series, we are starting with an economic terminology which requires analysis of external sector and exchange rates. So let's begin. Usually, if you look at the exchange rates that were hovering in last decade, the same time in 2014, in the month of April, the exchange rate to dollar with rupee was around 60 rupees per dollar. But today, it's 83 rupees per dollar in April of 2024. Which means it's a 26% depreciation. Does it mean this depreciation creates trade competitiveness to Indian exports? The answer is no. Because this blunt look at exchange rates creates an illusion that Indian currency is cheaper. In reality, the exchange rate has to be looked at through an effective basket because we are not just exporting it to US but various countries. Along with that, another factor we need to factor in is comparatively inflation in domestic production country and destination country. So, to factor in all these things, let's look at couple of more terms and couple of more indicators which are to be analyzed. They are NEER and REER. To arrive at NEER and REER, from exchange rate, let's start our journey towards effective exchange rate. Effective exchange rate literally means a weighted average of 40 currencies which form basket rather than comparing just with a dollar. So effective exchange rate is again categorized as two indicators. One is nominal effective exchange rate, which doesn't factor in inflation, and another is real effective exchange rate. So what actually differentiates this NEER and REER? If you can create a mathematical model, it's just inflation. So when NEER is ignorant of inflation in two different countries, you need to relatively divide the inflation indicator. To arrive at real effective exchange rate. Just to understand what does increase in real effective exchange rate means? Increase in real effective exchange rate means in real terms, after factoring in all the inflation and all the relative weighted averages, it signifies appreciation in Indian rupee. And this REER is considered to measure the trade competitiveness and not the nominal one, not the normal exchange rate. So let's dive into the scenario which RBI projects in its report. As we are looking at a decadal analysis of 2014 to 2024, in this decade, RBI compiled a relative index to measure REER and NEER with 2014-15 as base year. Comparatively, if you consider 2014-15 as 100 points, comparatively in 2024, NEER is at 96 and it's hovering between 96 and 97. Whereas REER is at 104. And again, a disclaimer, these are rounded off values. So these rounded off values, if you look at comparatively, real effective exchange rate has increased, which means when we have our exchange rate increased in real terms, our trade competitiveness would decrease relatively. So why can't we compile directly REER? And what is prominence of NEER, if you ask? NEER would signify the competitiveness of investments that India receives. Because NEER is depreciating over the years, we are getting a comparative advantage to pull investments directly. So FDIs and FPIs, those slowed down, still they are positive comparative to the previous years and previous decades. And REER, which creates competitiveness when it comes to trade, which means export of goods and services, merchandise and services, invisibles. When it has appreciated, the real condition is decline in trade competitiveness. Hope you understood this concept. So just to test ourselves, let's just look at the 2022 PYQ. If it's visible, the question says, with reference to Indian economy, examine these statements. So the first statement says there is an increase in, when there is increase in nominal effective exchange rate, it indicates appreciation of rupee, which is true. When we come to the second statement, an increase in real effective exchange rate, it indicates an improvement in trade competitiveness, which is fallacious and contrary to what we discussed. An increase in REER signifies a reduction in trade competitiveness. And the third statement says an increasing trend in domestic inflation relative to the inflation of other countries is likely to cause an increase in divergence between NEER and REER. As NEER and REER are separated by inflation. If there is zero inflation, then NEER and REER would be exactly equal. As the inflation rises, the divergence would increase. These are 2022 model. So in the latest format, the questions are predominantly with only one statement right, two statements right, maybe none, all the above. If it, as per this question, it was 1 and 3, that is answer. Probably today, if the question is modeled in the different format, it could have been only 2 statements right. Hope this whole concept has given you a comprehensive insight rather than just being victim of a political hue and cry. For more informative videos like this, please follow the series, and another day with an informative video, I'll be before you. Till then, you can comment your doubts below, and please don't forget to follow the series. Thank you.